So we've been making some pretty good headway from this to this. We've got the skeleton of the walls up with the majority of the roof up, excluding its metal sheets. And moving on, we've got to add some wood in the corner here. So we add in one of those angled pieces along with the second. And mainly what we're trying to achieve here is so that the rain won't be getting in. So you can see this wood piece butts very nicely with the metal sheet to give an overlap just there. And that nicely sits like so that we can then have our cladding just overlapping that bit of a sheet there, and that way we ain't getting the water to run into the building. We'll also add some membrane on there later as well. But that was all I did that day, day 13, and we moved to day 14 with the dogs playing in the barn just here. Puppy all excited. But again, this is where it's at. It is raining a bit in here on this side, and we need to build the wall up to stop that rain coming in, because we can't extend the roof without the wall to support it like we did on this far side. We added those two supports in the other day, and now it's time to build up the next wall. We've gone and drawn out our plan just here with our list that we need to get cutting. And you can see a bit more zoomed in the general plan we're going for, of course adding a bit more support. And so we'll be using this wood here. We need a lot more of it. We're going to use the teleporter forks there to get the wood from over on that pile. We bring the teleporter over, and here we uncover the wood and start loading it all up. At this point we just take all of what we have remaining and bring it over to the cottage just here. We moved it so we'd have actually some room to build the frame, with now the forks completely empty. But we now put a board on the forks, and you'll see why. We're getting these windows. Now the reason we're getting the windows now and putting them all on the forks and bringing them over, because once the wall is in place, it'll be much harder. So we're bringing the windows over here, and we can see like this big window with all those little panes is going in there, and this window just here will be going adjacent to it just on the left, just in there. And then we have some other windows like this smaller one will be going just here for the bathroom window. So we got to get the rest of the bigger windows here as well. They're quite hefty to bring over. With some smaller ones, we just about manage, pile them all up and then drag them over here, stack them up, and there we go, and cover them with a board so that they don't get damaged while we move things around. So it's time to start building that wall. We've got to cut a lot of pieces of wood. So with this being our first, we can now go and lay out all the frames. You can see it just being constructed there, laid out, and we are of course hammering them together, adding new pieces, adding in some more struts there and snoggins for the extra support, and make sure this thing ain't falling to pieces. At this point, we do the nervous job of bringing it by ourselves. We were determined to do it this time, but technically I did have help in terms of using the loader, and it was pretty scary work moving this thing, as we really don't want it collapsing and falling to bits. But with a lot of tweaking, some help with some extra ropes as well, we managed to just about get it in position there. A little bit stressful, but we now have our third outer wall in place. Pretty happy with that. It stands fairly well, and you can see again where the windows are going to be. And you can see the rest of the area, how it's looking currently. Now, with that extra wall in place, now we can finally extend the roof out. But we'll leave that to another day. So the following day we got some help from a friend, and we put in those supports. You can see them just there. And the next step is to put the rafter on the outside. We finally managed to do so, and that is the roof extended. And that's the entirety of it just there. And we had to go around the outside, stapling it down on the far side as well. So we're getting some puddling there, which is pretty annoying. But that's that extra rafter put in place. Pretty happy. It's definitely nice to have some help with a friend. So now that wall there is a lot more supported with a bit of the weight of the roof holding it down. The next step is to add membrane on this wall so that we can then add cladding later on. So again, with the help of my friend, we managed to put that outer row on. The lower row and we can then put the second one on top of that, and you can see how it's looking. For now it's covering the windows, but we will be cutting it and adjusting it, as you can see just here with the second row up. We cut that for the window, and then our plan is to actually add the window here. So we add this kind of dark plastic there to the base of where the window is going to go. We also need a windowsill, so we get these roof cappings and we bend them in shape just like so. So now we have a lip on one side, which will make sure that any water that could creep in is not going to end up damaging our wall. So we put that in place just like so, with more of that black plastic going up either side. Again, really important we make this waterproof. And so now we put these supports in there. God, the lighting is horrible, and that's to stop the window from like falling out when we're trying to put it in position. So with a bit of lifting and adjusting here and there, again, a massive thank you to my friend for helping me with this, we get the window in place and screwed securely. This ain't going anywhere. And it's pretty exciting to get the first window in. So there you have it. That is the first step towards getting our windows in place. We are indeed doing it before putting, let's say, insulation and all that, as we kind of want to make this thing a bit more watertight than it is before putting up anything. We could of course put the cladding on the outside, but having the window sills in position and the windows will help a little bit more, at least the way I plan on doing it. So overall, that is how my project is currently looking like. A bit messy here and there, but again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.